Alright. So you see, when I first came here, I felt a bit down, right? I was really angry at the world, at anybody who ever kind of didn't do what I wanted them to do. And then I came here and I spent some time in the nature and I talked for probably like 2 hours. And suddenly I feel more like myself again. But then comes, of course, again the problem that what do I do when it's raining, when it's winter, and it's cold, and it's snowing, right? And it's miserable, and I don't want to go outside. Because I don't like filming outside if it's cold. Like, if it's really cold, it's shit. What do you do then? You do your talking somewhere inside. Maybe go outside. But still go outside. But for example, if it's like really raining, I mean, there have to be some days where you just stay inside. That's just how I feel. There just have to be some days where you stay inside. That's just how I feel. You know, I never see them here. That's really interesting. But just today, where I'm sitting down here, suddenly they're driving past. And that's the interesting thing. Because you are still part of the system. And sometimes I have the feeling that the system or the matrix or, you know, maybe the evildoers, they're kind of aware if somebody's around speaking truth. Because I have never recorded like that much here. And I do spend quite some time here in this park. And I never see them driving through here. That's the first time now. So sometimes I see some kind of relevance. But it's just also a way to be inconspicuous. So I like to be, you know, I face them. So I'm not shying away. But I also, you know, I'm not like violent or anything. But that's also why I like wearing this cap, for example, because in a way it makes me seem like, first of all, it gives me a kind of a lightful aura. But it also makes me like, I don't know, this kind of way to dress, it's kind of chilled, but it's also showing to people, like, don't fuck with me. Because this is not how somebody dresses. It shows I know what I'm doing, right? I have my own style, I'm relaxed. Somebody's smoking weed. Maybe that's why they're here. Sometimes I smoke it, I smell it, I want to smoke it, but I don't think it's really good for me at the moment. It makes you soft over time. It makes you soft because it also makes you eat a lot. At least with me, it makes you soft. Like, cannabis should be something maybe used once a month in a kind of a ceremony, and you can make that with oil. So you take coconut oil and you take cannabis and you kind of dissolve it. And I like it even better if you take hash, because that just dissolves much more easily. And then you can make like a water bath, a bain-marie, and you leave it in there for 8 hours. The water, of course, has to be boiling, and then you take a container which has the oil in it and you put that into the boiling water, so the oil doesn't actually get in contact with stuff. And I think last time I did it with 5 grams of like good Moroccan hash, 5 grams or roughly 6, and 600 grams of coconut oil. And then you can use that, like you can take 1 teaspoon and put it into your breakfast, or do a cacao ceremony with it. It is much better than smoking, much better. Much better. Smoking does like up, down, right? You smoke, you get up. Eating is like you eat it, and then it starts, and then it keeps you, and then it goes down again. That's when you eat it with oil. And you can have you can really trip with this. Like, for example, if you don't do it for a while, of course. Once, you have a nice room or you go out in the nature, maybe you bake some cookies with it or something. And then you eat one cookie, like let's say with a strong dosage. You can also just make oats. You don't have to make cookies, right? You could just make oats. And then you put 2 spoons of that stuff in there. Or you make a cacao ceremony and you put 2 teaspoons in there. And then you experiment. Like, now you know how it works. Next time you can try a bit more if you want. And then you just learn with cannabis to just be in the moment. To focus. Right. To observe. To just observe nature. That's how I used to do it. Because I learned to smoke and to eat cannabis in the South African savannah. And that's why my take on cannabis was completely different, because I was introduced to it in a different way. Like, not in some shady kind of dirty backyard watching like horror movies or something and then smoking it with tobacco. No, we smoked it pure. We ate it pure. And I like the version with the coconut oil quite a lot. Of course, you can also do that with ghee, but to me that's not like... Coconut oil for me is the best way to do it. But yeah, that's of course up to you. And also the bain-marie or the water bath makes sure that you don't burn it. That's quite important, to not burn it. And usually that can create quite a nice day. And of course, if you want to really hammer yourself and you just like smoking, right? So you're on a level for 2, 3, 4 hours. You're like at a nice high. If you want to boost yourself once, you can still smoke. But I would suggest, you take pure cannabis and then you take white sage. That's nice. Mix it together. White sage. It's usually like Californian white sage or something. You can also take, of course, oregano. That's what I really like to take. It's better than tobacco, because tobacco, I don't know. Somebody once said it splits your brain halves. It makes chaos in you. And I think if you use tobacco, you should try rapé. You should. That's just an opinion, but it is still spiritual advice. So it's also all your own choice, whatever you try. So doing rapé is different than smoking. It's a real fist in the face. You may actually collapse with that. You may actually vomit from that. And it's surely like, like, woohoo! A part of me says, never do that again! And the other one says, I think there will be a time where we will meet again. It's more like the warrior kind of stuff. But then maybe also, it depends on the strength you want. Because there are really soft versions of rapé which are not very genuine. So once more, rather let it come to you and don't go seeking actively for it. You just focus on it and attract it into your life. And at one point, it may be there. And that's what I said already. I did that with ayahuasca and all other things. They just came to meet.